It's time for the Skyhawks Coaches Corner, recorded live at the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad Museum.
Welcome to the Skyhawks Coaches Corner for this week, presented by Centura Health and Mercy Regional Medical Center. I'm your host, Bob Bonner, joined this week by head men's basketball coach Bob Pietrack in the friendly confines of Wayland Gymnasium. And Coach, I hope it was a great Christmas for you, and now you're ready for a little home cooking basketball style.
We had a nice break, but very thankful to be able to play some home games, and we've been on the road 3 out of 4, so thankful to be back.
You know, and we'll jump right into talking about basketball. In December, you mentioned 3 out of 4 on the road. You got to start here with Western, get a big win over them in the season opener, and then go up to their place and win again. And then you drop a couple of close ones after that. You know, 2-2, we got off to the fast start last year. You know, what are fast starts worth?
Yeah.
You know, 2-2, you probably learned some things about your team. How are you feeling with the start?
Yeah, well, you know, obviously you like to win every game, but I feel we've played really well in 3 of the 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, both Western games and the Colorado Mines game we felt was as good of a basketball game as you could play at this level. Just didn't go our way with a couple shots at the end. Wish we had the Colorado Christian game back on the road. Felt we could have played better there, but we're still learning ourselves a little bit. There's no non-conference games, so any experimenting that you do and growing that you do is happening in front of everybody's eyes, instead of having the extended preseason and playing some non-conference games against opponents that you'd feel like you would take care of regardless of what you're doing. So we're seeing our team grow. I thought there was tremendous growth since we've played our first game, and tremendous growth from the Colorado Christian game to the Mines game. And think we're going to keep getting that way as the season goes.
How important was you talk about the bump in the road being the game up at Christian, but you know, you open up the 20-point victory over Western, and then you go up to their place, and there's no let up from that. Felt pretty good, but then you lose the game at Christian. How important was it for you to bounce back against Mines the way you guys did?
Yeah, well, I think it speaks to more of the players on the team and how much they care about the program and care about each other. Listen, when you go on the road in this league, there's times where you can get nailed. And Christian made 15 threes. We watched the tape. Really felt 12 of them were defended pretty well. But life on the road's hard, so really challenged our guys. I thought the Colorado Mines game was an RMAC title caliber basketball game. Right. 21 lead changes, back and forth. Mines is obviously a very good team. I think we're a really good team too. So as part of the growing process, I think our team will learn from it and get better from it. That doesn't take away the fact that it hurt.
Right.
Obviously, it hurts to lose. So we're excited to get back for Sunday's ball game. Haven't tasted the feeling of winning in a couple, and excited to compete and see where it goes.
You know, and you mentioned Colorado Christian. They hit 15 threes late last year. Teams unfortunately shot the 3 pretty well against us during the rough stretch of the season. And I guess that's what I was talking about, to come back then against Mines and play as well as you did. You know, that thought that, oh, here we go again when Christian hits all those threes. And then to come back and just put such a complete effort out there against a ranked team like Mines was, you know, a statement game is one you win. But at the same time, to come back, did you guys make a statement with that game that you're here to stay?
Well, you know, we've never felt our program's not been there. It's just we've had some couple years where things haven't gone our way. We've had some adversity as far as injuries goes, but we feel we have a championship program, and you know that's the way we conduct ourselves, and we have great culture within the group. And I thought statement, I don't know, what we tried to prove to ourselves, no, not to anybody else, but to ourselves, is that, you know, we're capable of beating any team in our league, and that's not being cocky. That's just being how we feel. So we feel we can beat anybody. And we'll get to play Mines again, know how good they are, but we're excited to play them again when the schedule flips to it.
Now you're pouring in 84 points a game almost through the first 4. Is that a pace that you can maintain? If it is, you're going to be in a lot of ball games.
Well, yeah. I mean, in the time that Coach Steph and I have been together, we've averaged right around there as our program. But we've been playing a little different against Mines. We went bigger and trying to focus more defensively. So not sure what the point totals will be, but we're not overly concerned about the actual number of points. It's the efficiency, points per possession, that we focus on offensively. We're 4th in the country in points per possession right now at 1.1 points. That's the statistic that really matters to us, more than the actual number of points. We want to know how efficient are we, and what is our field goal percentage. So 1.1 points per game, 50% shooting on the year. We'd like to make more threes than we're making. We only make about 7 threes a game. Like to see that number up 8 or 9, 10. And then defensively, here's the story. When we guard well and keep teams, 70, 75 and under, we win. And when we don't, we get in a little bit of trouble.
Coach, 4 games, it's a snapshot of a season, but at this point, you guys moved up. You're 10th in the conference defensively. It's an improvement, not leaps and bounds, but I know in the couple of games I've been able to watch this year that I feel like you're better defensively. Is that something is that a feeling you guys share as a team? Is there a little pride there?
I definitely think that we're better defensively. Listen, we played 3 out of 4 on the road. You normally do guard better at home. But if you take out the one game where Colorado Christian made 15 threes, that whole thing can change. So it's just a small snapshot. But what we're most focused on is how hard are we playing, how much energy are we playing with, how much energy is coming from the bench, stuff like that. Those are things that we really can control. Sometimes it's very hard to control if a kid hits a fall-away shot or banks one in from the corner. Right. So we just try to really focus on is what we can control. And I think our energy defensively, can it get better? Yeah, but we are improving. And as long as we do that, I really feel good about where we're headed.
What else on the defensive side of the ball? Because you're 2nd in the conference in scoring right now. We don't have to talk, and you've already mentioned that you can probably shoot the ball better from the perimeter is the one area you can improve. Defensively, it looks like you're working hard out there. It looks like the energy is there. So, barring that, hustle is a big component when it comes to defense. But where is there better communication? What sort of little things do you guys identify where hey, if we get a little better here,
Yep.
pretty soon we're pretty dang salty defensively.
We got to get a little bit better in screen and roll coverage. Okay. Something that we've talked about, especially with our big guys. Got to get better screen and roll, and we're about an even rebounding team. And most times, if you're going to be a team that goes to the NCAA tournament, you got to be a plus rebounding team, and we've been even. And that's why we tried to insert Boatwright in the starting lineup against the game against Colorado Mines, and plan on continuing that as the season goes on because of his ability to rebound. So I really feel good about our team, to be honest. Obviously, we'd like to be 4-0 and not 2-2, but big picture, long-term picture, like where we're at, like the people we have, and just think we're going to get better and better as the year goes on.
Well, good. And I want to come back and we're going to talk a little bit about some of those people and some of the strong starts that you've had from some of the players to kick off the year. But we're going to take a quick break, and after a short message, we'll be back with more Skyhawks Coaches Corner right after these.
You can't stop the snow from falling, but you can make sure it doesn't slow you down. The Kubota Grand L Series, featuring an enclosed cab and all the snow removal equipment you need, is the ultimate package for outstanding performance, comfort, and taking on winter. Right now, get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 60 months, plus a 6-year limited powertrain warranty. See your local Kubota dealer today.
Southwest Ag, your Four Corners all-season equipment superstore, online at swaginc.com.
Welcome back to the Skyhawks Coaches Corner, presented by Centura Health and Mercy Regional Medical Center. I'm Bob Bonner, joined by head coach Bob Pietrack of the Fort Lewis College Skyhawks. We're in Wayland Gymnasium, where the Skyhawks, after, it's been a while, early December, we had a game here against Western and then on the road for 3. Now back here at Wayland for 3. And one of the things we talked about, off to a 2-2 start, really solid start, and some pretty good performances in December. Some of the players who helped you guys get off to that good start this year and that you're pinning some hopes on in January. The one guy that's no secret to anybody is Riley Ferris. He just keeps being Riley. It doesn't matter how many double teams they throw at him. He really is a fantastic offensive talent, isn't he?
He's as good as you could have at this level offensively, and he still has room to get better. So he's seen some different things this year compared to last year with some of the double teams, and He's embraced it and wants to get everybody involved, and I think he's been very unselfish. So he's a wonderful teammate. He's easy to play with, and he's made adjustments, and he'll keep making adjustments. And as the year goes on and we see more of it, we'll just keep playing out of it and getting better. Teams are throwing it from all different areas, from the backside, the front side. So as we go, Riley will keep doing what he does, but he's a very proven player at this stage in his career, so not much really bothers him. He just kind of does what he does and does it pretty effectively.
He is the epitome of you can't stop him, you can only hope to contain him at a college level. One of the guys who has helped out and obviously you're gonna need some players to make shots and create some things offensively to take some of that pressure off Riley Ferris. One of the newcomers who this year is making a splash is Donnell Stafford. Over 12 points a game through the first 4, and is really providing some energy on both ends of the floor for you.
No, Donnell's been excellent for us, and didn't really know what to expect. We didn't recruit him to play point guard. He had never played point guard, and because of Hokinson's wrist injury and the recovery taking a little bit longer than maybe we anticipated, Donnell's taken over as a point guard, and he's actually really been comfortable and played great for us. He's very good defensively. He does not turn the ball over, very good assist turnover ratio. He can get downhill and get to the basket, and has played great, and somebody that we needed, and he's a physical guard up top, which we didn't have as much last year, so he's added another element to our team. And you got to remember, he's only 4 games into his career at Fort Lewis, so he's just going to get better and better and better as you go. And then another transfer that's really helped us is Tyler Kinghorn. And Tyler, again, with no non-conference games, you're seeing some of the transfers and you guys have to blossom right in front of you. And Tyler really played well against Colorado Mines. And, a little bit of the dips and valleys throughout the year for him, but really think he has a chance to take off in the second semester.
Right. Who else, in December, like I said, you were able to see a lot of different players. In December, who else should we look for in January? We know what we've got with the Quell, another great offensive player. Who else is going to have to contribute for you guys to pile up the wins in January?
We have a core to our team, even dating back to last year, where you got a lot of returners with Ferris, Whitman, Seng, Quell, Boatwright, LaRose, guys like that have logged a lot of minutes. They're staples to our program. And they can still keep getting a lot better. Quell's very young in his basketball journey. So we think Quell has a chance to get a lot better. He's getting more comfortable. There are some games, like he's had some good games and some bad games, but as time goes on, he's going to be a really good player and just be more consistent as it goes. Will Whitman and Corey Seng are the type of kids that every coach would love to have. They're Division II Cadillacs. They do everything you ask them. Multiple positions, play hard, guard, rebound, take good shots. I mean, those are wonderful young men to have on the team. So, and that's why they're so important to it. And LaRose is really blossoming. Not to use a pun, but the rose is blooming.
But it was a great one. If it's laying there, pick it up.
The rose is really blooming. So, we had a lot of confidence in both Boatwright and LaRose, and they've been in our program for years now. And people have got to remember, you recruit high-level high school guys, you got to give them a second to grow. You got to give them some time. And we planted those seeds years and years ago and have watered it and nurtured it. And you're starting to see those kids really blossom, and it's helping our team. And we got a good team right now. We just got to keep playing.
Well, the player who's going to join us next is Corey Seng. And I know he's been a favorite player of yours this year, and as we wrapped up last season, he was a lot of fun. That first game against Western, when Corey takes a shot to the head or whatever, he comes back in, he's all wrapped up. Maybe Peyton has got a picture of that she can run during the show. That picture, that's not a bad image to project for your team, and just that toughness. He was just chomping at the bit to get back on the floor and disrupt again. Just tell us a little bit about Corey and how he's grown in this program in just the last half of last season and now the start of this season. He's become a starter and just a steady contributor.
Yeah, no, Corey represents everything that's right with Division II basketball, from off the court to on the court. Pleasure to coach. when we first got him last year, our plan, he was transferring from Colorado State Pueblo. Our plan was to redshirt him. And then he did so well early in practice, you're like, maybe not. And then it took a second, and he had to earn it. But he just basically said, Coach, I'm going to play, and you're not going to take me off the floor very much, and gave me no choice but to play him in a good way. And that's what every coach wants. You want kids that are competing so hard every day that they don't give you a choice but to play them. Right. And as it's grown, it's amazing how you can take somebody that was played somewhere else and that they can come to your program, and within a year's time, you feel like you've had them for 4 or 5 years, right. Just like the other ones. So Corey's done a great job. When you're that coachable, it's easy to work with. Now, on every team, especially good teams, there's guys that glue everything together, right. And Corey's very much the glue of our team at this point. He can play some guard. He knows all the positions. He's very versatile. But as far as the glue of keeping it together, when you have a senior that's willing to do all the stuff that it takes to win, and not get as much credit as the next guy, and not take as much shots as the next guy, and guard the other team's best perimeter player, and take charges, and do all those things, when you have a guy like that, that's extremely valuable. That's as valuable as Ferris or Donnell or a Quell. So we're thankful to have them, and it's funny, sometimes things just work out for the best, and somebody else's trash can be your treasure, and he's an absolute treasure for us.
What are Corey and the guys going to have to do in January as you look now? We'll look at the games staring you in the face now in January. Any of those stick out? You hate to put too much on any one thing, but any of those games stick out, or are there any things that you guys are identifying as specific points in your game that stick out that we've got to go now? We've got to get this done.
Well, we got a 3-game homestand coming up. So COVID permitting, we'll get to play 3 in a row at home. And those are critical games because the road is very difficult. For anybody that's experienced RMAC road trips, boy, the road isn't easy. So you try to win as many as you can on the road, but then you got to come home and protect the fort. And that'll be our theme moving the next 2 weeks is we got to find a way to be very good at home. And over the last 5 years, I think we've been a very good home team, and we were a very good home team the first night. So got to protect here, keep getting better defensively, stay where we're at offensively, be crisp, keep playing with size, and let it, trust the process of what we're doing, and I think we'll be successful.
Feeling good where you're at right now?
Yeah, I feel good. I think our team feels good. I like to have the Christian game back. That's being very honest. But when you're looking big picture at it and not so short-sighted with just wins and losses each time, I think we have all the guys on the team are rooting for each other. We have very good chemistry. We have zero problems. They did great in school. They work hard every day in practice. They care about the program. They care about each other. And when you have that as a coach, it makes it very easy for Coach Stephenson and I to keep coming back. And there's going to be setbacks, and we're not going to win the rest of the games. That's impossible. But we're going to keep coming back because we have the right people in the program, and we got people that care about each other. The coaches care about the players. Players care about the coaches. So with that, yeah. So when we have all that, it's hard not to feel good about your ball club.
Everybody excited for 2021, but plenty to be excited about in Port Louis College basketball in the new year as well.
We're very excited. We're very excited to start this January and see where the next 3 months go.
Great. Thanks to Coach Bob Pietrack for joining us on the Skyhawks Coaches Corner. We're going to come back and be joined by Corey Seng right after these.
We know that there are certain sports that are more at risk to have ankle injuries. And so for my athletes in those types of sports, I'm often recommending not only preventative fitness activities, but also stretching and maintenance exercises for proprioception, and even so far in some situations, preventative bracing or taping. And you're struggling with either a current injury or an injury from the past that's causing you to have pain and dysfunction, I highly encourage you to get over with Mercy Sports Medicine. The athletic trainers there are a great first line of contact for ankle injuries in general. And then also if you need a consultation here at Mercy Orthopedics with me, they can help that happen seamlessly.
Welcome back to the Skyhawks Coaches Corner, brought to you by Centura Health and Mercy Regional Medical Center. I'm your host, Bob Bonner, in Wayland Gymnasium, joined by Corey Seng, a guy who's really made this your house this year. Corey, you came in last year as a transfer out of CSU Pueblo. Coach told us they toyed a little bit with the idea of a red shirt, but right off the bat when practice started, you kind of took that out of the equation. And then a slow start to the season as far as playing time and impact. But boy, you just, by the end of the year, you felt like one of those guys who was demanding attention. And every time you got an opportunity on the floor, for me sitting up in the booth or watching the game from the baseline, you did something memorable. Was that something you recognized as okay, I'm going to get my shots and I'm going to absolutely make the most of them?
Yeah, definitely. Just being efficient on the court, do everything the coaches asked me to do. I tried to do that, and it showed towards the end of the year, based off my playing time, that if I could do those things, I could find time on the court. So.
And where I noticed you the most was on the defensive end of the floor. When you've got Riley Ferris doing his thing offensively, Will Whitman, your counterpart on the other wing, getting up and throwing the ball down. Aquel was having a pretty giant year last year offensively. Did you have a feeling that if you wanted to fight for a role in a spot that you were going to have to first do it on the defensive end of the floor? Was that something you concentrated on, or is that just sort of the way it worked out?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I've always been defense first mentality, playing basketball growing up. So when I saw that we needed help on the defensive end, I just felt comfortable with that role. And that's what really helped me get going last year and continuing this year as well. So.
And now this year the offense is coming for you. I think you're averaging about 9 a game. Mm-hmm. Is that just natural, or is the team looking for offense for you, or is that just your rhythm? Are we just seeing Corey Seng, the basketball player, on both ends of the floor now?
Yeah, I mean, it's different for everybody adjusting to a new program, and I finally feel like I'm really comfortable in this program and that I'm finding where I can get my shots better this year as well. So it has a little to do with my teammates finding me good looks as well, and just being more comfortable in the system. So.
Okay. Take us through. I talked to Coach about that first game of the year against Western. You got a little dinged up. You go off the floor, you get mummy wrapped around your head and come back in. Tell us a little bit about what happened there, and because like I said, that's an image that's going to stick with me for the entire year. And then you came out and backed it up on the floor. Tell us what happened there.
Yeah, just driving for a lip and collided heads. Made the shot and was like yelling and one, and then Scotty comes up to me actually and tells me I'm bleeding. I didn't even know I was bleeding, so just had to get that wrapped up. And so I wanted to get back in because I just really love playing basketball. So when I found out I was bleeding, I wanted to get patched up by John, our great trainer, right away to get back in the game. So.
Is that, like I said, I've got this picture now. That's Corey Seng, Warrior. Is that something you aspire to? Is that something you've looked at yourself? As like I said, when you came out last year and some of the things you were doing defensively, yeah. I remember seeing behind us where you just would not be denied in a steal in a game last year. Do you think of yourself as a Warrior? Is tenacity something that you really hang your head on as a basketball player?
I would just say, like, my mindset coming into each game is just playing the hardest I possibly can, and if that makes it seem like I'm a warrior, I just believe I'm a hard worker, and that's what I'll always do when I check into the game. So. Okay.
You're not going out there trying to bleed every Saturday
No, not trying to bleed preferably. But.
What's different this year? Besides obviously your role on the team, I think you've created one and defined a role for yourself. What's different about this year? Obviously, COVID is making things different for everybody, but. Aside from that, what's the difference between this year and last for you?
It's just weird. No one in the stands. That's definitely interesting because you can hear a lot more things, which makes it kind of helpful at the same time. You can hear the coach better when he's calling out plays and stuff. But yeah, and then just outside of basketball too. Luckily, we have such a close team that where we keep our circles small, it's not that big of a problem. But it's just definitely a lot. So not being able to see family as much, just to protect the basketball team, and so yeah, it's just definitely been different.
So has basketball been sort of a mainstay, a little bit of normalcy in the midst of all this? Has basketball been something you really can go,
Yeah,
We've still got the gym.
Definitely, yeah. Without basketball, it'd be a lot more challenging, I feel like, for me and most of the guys on our team probably. So it's really nice to come out and practice and play every day and just kind of get our mind off COVID and everything else going on with the world. So
Put it away for a couple hours at least.
Yeah.
All right, Corey, we're about to wrap up our time here on the Skyhawks Coaches Corner. I want to wrap it up. We do a little rapid fire with our guest. Coach did it the first time he was on the show. It's a little thing I call the one. I'm going to give you 5 questions. Just first answer that pops into your mind. Just give me the one thing. One thing I like to ask everybody is one game from your career, high school, college, the one game that you're never going to forget?
Probably back in high school, my senior year. It was 2 versus 1, and we were playing against them away, and I ended up having 30 points, and we ended up winning by 10. And that was the most fun, like packed, sold out game. So.
Okay. One player that you're glad you're never going to have to face again, high school
tough.
or college.
Let me think. Probably from Regis, my toughest guard was Jared Broadbeck. He could score anyway. Really good 3-point shooter. Got in your head. The way he talked, definitely talked a lot of crap. So yeah. So definitely him. I mean, he's a tough player, really good player. So.
Okay. How about the one player who's and not even player, one person who's made the positive impact on you, the biggest impact, who's made you the player you are?
I'll say I'm not going to say a player. I'm going to say a coach, and it was my dad growing up. He definitely molded me into the player I am today with late night gym sessions and stuff like that.
Okay.
So.
Coach's kid, you kind of could have guessed that.
Yeah.
I think some of the stuff we talked about early in the segment similar to a lot of coaches' kids. Okay, if you've got one thing you want people at Fort Lewis College to say about Corey Seng when the year is over, what's the one characteristic you want to sort of define you as a basketball player here?
Just someone you could always count on. To have an impact in a game coming into it, someone that helps hopefully a championship caliber team this year reach its aspirations and goal. I think that would be something I would want to be remembered by from here.
All right, and we'll wrap it up with a no pressure question. Is there one present you wish you'd have gotten for Christmas that you didn't?
No, honestly, I didn't ask for much. I liked all my presents, so I can't think of one right off the top of my head right now. So.
Nothing wrong with being content.
Yep.
Hey, thanks, Corey, for joining us. Fort Lewis College men's basketball senior Corey Seng. This is Bob Bonner. We'll wrap it up from the Skyhawks Coaches Corner, presented as always by Centura Health and Mercy Regional Medical Center. It was great being able to host a program from Wayland Gymnasium this week, and hopes for more victories here in Wayland Gymnasium for the Fort Lewis College men's basketball team. That'll do it for us for this week. Until next week, everybody, keep soaring.